Hi there, your favorite deep dive show, Get Me Right, is back. This week, as always, two topics. India lost a gem of a son with the death of Ratan Tata this week. While the legendary business leader and through his life, the House of Tatas, have been profiled all through the week, this also is an occasion to recall the Parsis, a microscopic minority of the country, and their tremendous contribution to India's march to progress through last 2 centuries. It's amazing they have done that without cribbing and without seeking a single privilege for their minority status. Also this week, Elon Musk appeared at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania in the United States. Let us use the occasion to focus on corporate America's relationship with American politics, reflecting their clear ideological positions through corporate funding. It's a nice pattern you would love to know about. So sit back and watch. Tata patriarch Ratan Tata passed away due to age-related issues in Mumbai this Wednesday. He was 86 and ailing for a while. Perhaps his last public message was on Swachhata Mission, the cleanliness drive led by Prime Minister Modi, thus underscoring his commitment to philanthropy and greater public good, even in his goodbye moments. Credited with the turnaround of the Tata Group after taking charge in 1991, Ratan Tata also took it global, making marquee brands like American and British names, Jaguar, Land Rover and Tetley Tea, into Indian brands. Acquisitions around the world under his watch meant that the House of Tatas became an India-origin global brand with 65% plus of its revenues coming from international operations by the time he first demitted office in 2012. Like his business, Ratan Tata also took his philanthropy global with Tata Group donations to universities like the University of California and Cornell, with campuses named after Tata Group companies giving high prestige visibility to brand India. And how can we forget the Tata Nano project, which was more a vision than a business? But this is not a Ratan Tata obit. Have you wondered how this microscopic minority of India called Parsis produced so much social and national wealth over 2 centuries for our country? The Parsis came to India following religious persecution at the hands of marauding hordes of Arab Muslim forces that ran over medieval Persia. This was 7th century. Landing up at Sanjan port, near what is Navsari, today's Gujarat, Parsis had to convince that they would get fully assimilated with the local society. Legend has it that when the king showed them a glass of milk full to the brim, suggesting that the place was already full and not available for more people, one of the community leaders put a spoon of sugar in it that dissolved, suggesting in return that the Parsis would mix with the society just like that sugar in milk without any disruption. That contract has lasted over a millennium, with the Parsis becoming the most successful minority in a nation, perhaps anywhere in the world. In many ways, India owes a huge debt to Parsi individuals and a bunch of Parsi families, from the Tatas to Godrej's, from the Wadias to the Mistris, for laying the foundation of modern and economically vibrant India as far back as 18th century. The House of Tatas was set up in 1868 by Jamsetji Tata. Ardeshir Godrej set up his group in 1897. The Wadia Group, which owns Bombay Dyeing among other brands, was formed in 1736. Imagine, those were still the days of the Mughal Empire. Asia's oldest newspaper, Mumbai Samachar, published in Gujarati language from Mumbai, completed 200 years. Yes, 2 centuries in 2021. It is the only newspaper, perhaps, that has reported on the 1857 mutiny on Rani Lakshmi Bai, as also the 2024 general elections. And it is owned by the Parsi family of Kamas. Such was the vision of these stalwarts that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru called Jamsetji Tata a one-man planning commission. And why not? From the first steel plant to first 5-star hotel, from first textile mill to first airline, and innumerable industries in between, Parsis set India on road to industrialization through their entrepreneurial vision, at least half a dozen world-class research institutes, from the IISc in Bengaluru to the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, from the Cancer Research Institute to the Energy Institute, owe their origins to generous Tata grants. Much before freedom movement became mainstream mass imagination, much before the advent of Gandhi and Gokhale, an old man, actually called the grand old man of Indian politics, Dadabhai Naoroji was trudging a lonely furrow in the UK House of Commons in London, making a case for India's independence through his speeches and private member bills. That was in the 1890s. Naoroji was also one of the founders of the Congress, shepherded by A.O. Hume. We know the story of the two homies, Homi Jahangir Bhabha, the father of India's nuclear program, and Homi Nusserwanji Setna, who spearheaded the Atomic Energy Commission at the time of India's first nuclear test in 1974. Almost all of the first round of India's nuclear power plants were set up under Setna's stewardship. Any guess where Bhabha shepherded much of our atomic program? At the Tata-funded TIFR. He, of course, went on to establish the International Atomic Energy Agency, becoming its first scientific advisor. And those of my generation remember the last of the lectures of constitutional lawyer Nani Palkiwala on, guess what, India's annual budget. He would make them large, addressing huge crowds at the Brabourne Stadium in Mumbai. Perhaps only a Parsi could hold a budget discussion in a cricket stadium packed to capacity. And just in case you thought Parsis excelled only in boring stuff like nuclear physics and law, Freddie Mercury of the Queen rock band was a Parsi originally named Farooq Balsara, with his parents having migrated from Mumbai to London via Zanzibar. Those from that generation would connect with the names of cricketers Paulie Umrigar, Nari Contractor, and Rusi Surti. How can we forget the legend of General Sam Manekshaw, who scripted independent India's most celebrated military victory in the 1971 war with Pakistan, recently profiled in the Bollywood flick Sam Bahadur. Zubin Mehta, who has directed or conducted Montreal Symphony Orchestra, Los Angeles Philharmonic, and the Israel Philharmonic Orchestra, is also a Parsi. Coming from Vadodara in Gujarat, I have profiled India's first woman photographer, Homai Vyarawala, and been witness to the works of artists like Jahangir Sabawala, among others. There must be something about the community that makes them so successful and giving. There's this story about Nusli Wadia. As a young executive in his father's company, the Bombay Dyeing, he came to know of his father's plans to sell it off and cash out. Nusli mobilized his family, friends, and even workers at the Bombay Dyeing Mill to mop up 11% shares that were required to prevent the sale and retain management. The rest, as they say, is history. It's a corporate legend now of how Ford humiliated Tatas struggling with their car business in 1999, telling Ratan Tata they would do a favor to him if they bought Tata Motors, only to be rescued during the 2008 global financial crisis when the collapsing Jaguar Land Rover brand was bought by Tata. It was the turn of Ford chairman Bill Ford to eat humble pie and thank Tata. "You're doing us a big favor by buying JLR," was the return compliment to Ratan Tata. Parsis belong to one of the oldest religions in the world, based on the teaching of their prophet, Zarathustra or Zoroaster, who lived thousands of years ago. The faith he preached of an epic battle between a powerful deity, Ahura Mazda, and an evil spirit, in which his followers should do everything in thoughts, words, and deeds to aid the side of light, was passed down orally for centuries before it was committed to parchment. It became the dominant religion of Persia for more than a millennium until the advent of Islam in the 7th century. Shorn of rituals, the Parsis of India practice a minimalist religion that emphasizes good thoughts, good deeds, and good words. A fundamental Zoroastrian belief is that Ahura Mazda created the world and created it perfect. All suffering, misery, disease, and death are external assaults by the cosmic force of evil, Angra Mainyu. As they believe the world is the good creation of Ahura Mazda, there is a religious obligation to enjoy it. All this makes the Parsis of India gregarious and giving. They are very charitable. They donate their money for the welfare of the community and society. The point is that you can be a minority, a minuscule minority, a woefully outnumbered minority, and still make a difference, still grow and become rich, still create wealth and be powerful. Become a constructive pillar of the society you are in. Integrate and assimilate, even as you maintain your distinct cultural roots and value system. And not crib and cry. Not create a minority psychosis in your community. Not peddle fear narrative. Not seek to monopolize discourse. Not make disruptive claims. Not fracture the motherland that gave you harbor and shelter when things were not good. Sikhs have done similarly and spectacularly in India. Other minorities in the country and around the world should take note and be inspired. Moving on to our second story this week.